Warning, this episode may contain content that is not suitable for children. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome everyone to LED Live. Today we're going to answer the question, what does the TV show Lucifer teach us about God?
Find out on this episode of LED Live.
Okay, everybody, cat's out of the bag. We are talking about the TV show Lucifer today. And the Christian Post did an article a few years ago about the most watched TV shows by religious families. So I want to take a look at that list and we'll see where the show that we're talking about falls today. Okay?
That would be interesting.
The first one was This Is Us. You ever heard of this show?
Nope.
No?
I bet you it's gonna be this like twisted show of like what the modern family is gonna be like.
Well, I don't know. We're not analyzing all of these. We're just kind of like going down the list, okay? So This Is Us, briefly, it's a series about the lives of families of two parents and their children in several different time frames. So that's kind of their angle. They bounce back and forth in time. The next one was this on Fox. It's a show called Star. You ever heard of this?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think it's about?
Destiny's Child.
You're pretty close, actually.
Is it really?
It revolves around talented young singers who navigate the music business on their road to success. So very vague title, or vague description. But yeah, that's what that's about.
I wonder how truthful it is.
I don't know, but it seems like it'd be very appealing with all the talent shows that are available nowadays that you can watch. So the next one, How to Get Away with Murder.
Now that's interesting. So wait, these are shows that Christians are watching.
Yes. Well, the way that they phrased it was religious families. So I'm guessing that they're lumping in probably in America, a majority of those are going to be, Christians. Probably not just, if you look at the demographics and what people identify as mostly Christian.
I remember seeing a news clip on this and he was like, what does he say? He's like, murder, sex, and this, and those are the tame episodes of How to Get Away with Murder. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, for sure. I used to watch that show.
You used to watch that?
This one.
Okay.
Oh no. So why? Give us why.
Well, I like crime shows.
Okay.
And
Okay.
like documentary types
Murder
shows.
mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially like the psychological ones. So I was like, ooh, let's check it out.
So if you had to get away with it, you want to know how.
So what's the title mean?
Well, the title's pretty true to the show.
When it said, yeah, that's true. But I thought it was going to be along the lines of, how people get away with murder.
Okay.
And then like the dynamics of the court versus the person and maybe what strings they pull and all that.
And you totally got sucked into something else.
Yeah, for sure. How to Get Away with Murder. It's talking about, so this person, she's a professor at a law school or a university.
Yeah.
And basically her and her students, 5 in particular, get into some trouble and they get away with murder.
Yeah.
So it's like law students trying to beat the system.
Beat the system.
That's kind of what I would have, judging by the name, I thought this chick is teaching you how to get away with murder, like Pretty Little Liars
much.
or something.
Yeah. And in the midst of all of that is the sex and the drama and all
Yeah.
that. It's,
Everything else that sells on TV. All right. So let's go to the next one. Here we go. The show that we're talking about today.
Wow.
Lucifer.
I
wonder
It's
what
number
this show's
4.
about.
Who could it be? Who could it be? I just can't imagine who. Could it be Satan?
So you'll notice down there he's got a little pentagram cufflink on his suit. He's always dressed in a suit in this show. Just kind of interesting. He's always dressed well.
It's kind of like opposites.
You know
Lucifer, angel of light, but then this is like dark and red. And
Oh yeah.
It's kind of interesting that each one of those things that you've shown really have like really kind of not wholesome qualities. And I find that kind of fascinating if this is what like Christian families are drawn to,
Well, look at their options. I mean, when I was growing up, I remember there were shows like Little House on the Prairie, Highway to Heaven.
Right.
My mom used to watch Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
Yeah.
A
those
little
shows
bit.
are still out there though, or
They
shows
are.
like
Yeah.
that.
They are.
So I don't know, like
But
what's
what are people choosing to watch, I guess
Right.
is the question. All right, so brief synopsis on this. I'm just going to read it briefly, okay? Bored and unhappy as the Lord of Hell, Lucifer Morningstar abandoned his throne and retired to Los Angeles, right? The city of angels, where he teams up with the LAPD, in particular a detective named Chloe Decker, to take down criminals. And as part of this, he He has a nightclub that he owns. It's called Lux. It's kind of like a high-end, nightclub. And, so there's lots of the things you just described. There's lots of alcohol. There's lots of, lots of sex going on and just pretty much complete debauchery.
So he's a good guy almost.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. How the spin on this show, like his character, he is portrayed very much as a good guy. So you have a lot of sympathy for the devil in this show.
Well, that's why it's called Lucifer, not
It
the
is
devil.
called Lucifer, right?
Right.
So this was put on by Fox. They ran it for 3 seasons, okay? What do you think happened after 3 seasons?
It got canned.
Why do you think it got canned?
I don't know. I remember hearing about it getting canned, and I actually remember reading that there was a lot of people that were upset at that, which is kind of like disturbing that our society is seriously fascinated by, the arch enemy of God.
Yeah, so there was a watchdog group called 1 Million Moms, and they actually did a petition to have the show removed from network television, citing all the things that were in it. But that's not actually the reason that it got canned.
Ratings?
Well, you wouldn't think so because of this next thing that I'm going to show you. So here's Tom Ellis. The show goes for 3 seasons. After 3 seasons, this starts trending on Twitter. Number 1, what does it say?
Save
Lucifer.
Wow.
And how many does it have? 36.6 thousand tweets.
Wow.
Okay, so this is after season 3, and they say, hey, let's get this thing to get another season, right?
Does that mean it's the #1 worldwide
Number
hashtag
1
at that time?
hashtag at that time.
Wow.
So by the next day, 1 million tweets for Save Lucifer.
Wow.
Okay.
You guys, this is
This
insane.
thing, really shot up there and got a lot of people's attention. And so what happened is it got picked up by another network.
Netflix.
Yeah,
Netflix will play anything.
They
Yeah,
will,
They
pretty
will.
much. So Netflix picks it up and they do season 4. And then right now they're in the middle of producing season 5. When they started airing it on their network, this is the poster that they released.
Kidding me?
And if you zoom in there,
Of course,
It
he
says
is risen,
he is
which
risen.
which is literally so blasphemous. I remember actually when these billboards were coming out, and you would see them in like New York or something, and it would talk about he is risen, and there was a couple other hashtags. I don't remember what or the little titles, but they were messed up.
yeah, they're definitely not shy about the Christianity or references in the show.
Yeah.
But Christianity isn't the only thing that I think they're putting out there in the show, as we're going to see here in just a minute. So here's another poster. I thought this one was also kind of interesting, especially if you kind of zoom in down here to the bottom.
It's bad.
See this over and over and over again in Hollywood stuff, right? It's good to be bad. But of course, the Bible tells us otherwise. In Isaiah 5:20, it says, woe to those who call evil good and good evil. We are not supposed to be mixing those terms or saying, yeah, everything that's bad is good. That's not the picture the Bible paints.
Well, just jumping off of like what we've talked about with the Minions, because that was kind of the Minions tagline. It's good to be
that's right.
bad, right? That, in fact, they even use that exact same term.
They do.
To me, this is where little kids get exposed to these innocent little tag phrases, and then this is like the adult version of that. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So it's like they're priming you when you're young, but then it's like
exactly.
they're feeding you this kind of content when you get older.
Yeah, when you grow up, it's not so unfamiliar.
That's right.
It's a familiar
Completely
message.
Did you notice on the poster he was just kind of walking out of the gates of heaven? He didn't get kicked out. He was just
Or is
like,
it the gates of hell?
might be. But I just think it's interesting that we're at a state where people's mindset is we're saying save Lucifer.
Like that
Literally.
doesn't disturb you. He's the
Yeah.
cause of all this
No,
pain. And
save
that's like,
Lucifer. Like hashtag 1 million. Like that's
And
crazy.
it's not just the
scary.
world, it's Christians too. It wasn't that show on the list of top 5 shows.
It was number 4.
out of 20.
But here's the thing, just like Thanos really being a description of God, I mean, they've been putting this idea out there constantly that God is evil and the devil is good. And this is obviously, down the road, they're able to give this to society, and society's like accepting of this mentality.
Yep. Okay, so now I want to show you guys a clip from the producers and what they have to say about this show.
So because it is a show about the devil, do you often refer to the Bible to get kind of inspiration or ideas? We often do to make it kind of a foundation of what a story might spring from. So we'll take a character from the Bible, or like we just took for this season this flaming sword, which we made kind of a hodgepodge of things from the Bible. Mainly this sword that was supposed to guard the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, I'm going to cut you off right here because you're telling spoilers from the upcoming episodes. But,
Am I?
Yeah.
Am I? No, we didn't talk about the flaming sword.
Nope. So, that's episode 14. So you guys have a little preview of what's...
Oops.
We got the scoop, people.
Oh, no.
So, it's okay. It's actually a good tease of what you guys are about to see, and that's the kind of things we're playing with, which is things like the flaming sword, which you will learn about. Meant to. That was totally intentional. But that's the thing is, we use it as the basis for so much because I'm a lapsed Catholic. I grew up with all of this, with all of these stories and all of this mythology. And the question is, what are the parts that help us tell a story about Lucifer? What are the parts that let us tell a redemption story of a character?
It's funny because, there's a lot of us are religious or have grown up with religion. And like Tom, who plays Lucifer, he comes from a family of ministers, pastors. And a lot of people heard about the show before we had aired and said, what are you making the devil a hero? Is that really something you should be doing? And we're really not. I mean, he is a hero, but what we've been exploring from the beginning is that there's dark and light in everybody, and everybody can also be redeemed. Everybody can be forgiven, and if you can forgive the worst person in the world, then that's divine. Isn't that what God and religion is about?
I actually think, ironically, we are one of the more Christian shows out there because we're a story about redemption, and that is what Christianity is supposed to be about, at least in my experience of it. It's supposed to be about, doing good deeds, about trying to be the best version of yourself. And ironically, that's, I think, one of the things that our show affirms week after week. And it's one of the things I like about it, is a show about the devil might say more about the positives of Christianity and those ideas than others. And faith.
Yeah, I think that's the attraction of it. It kind of questions everybody's belief in whatever.
Yeah,
By turning it upside down, you're still looking at the same thing, but hopefully from a fresh perspective.
You got to be open-minded, for sure.
There it is, right?
Okay, so there's like,
Wow.
we could spend an hour on what these people
yeah.
just said right here.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know where to begin with that. The idea that these are the producers, so these are the people that are literally driving how this thing is playing out. I mean, they are the ones that are really making the executive decisions on direction and all of this. And, they said it themselves. They came from Christian backgrounds. He's a lapsed,
Catholic
believer, right? Mm-hmm. And here it's like, well, he's not the hero. Well, actually, he is the hero. And you know what I mean? It's like redemption. Like, if God doesn't redeem the devil, God's going to be evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in the movie Noah, we saw like the fallen angels were redeemed and things like that. We see that all the time in Hollywood.
So one of the things I picked out of here was there's darkness and light in everybody, as if that's the way it's supposed to be, And I want to challenge that thought with Scripture, because I don't think everybody should be included in that, and certainly not God. 1 John 1:5 says, "This is the message which you have heard from the beginning, and declare to you that God is light, and in Him is no darkness at all."
Amen.
So this mixture of light and dark is really something that we see from Eastern mysticism and things like that. It's the same kind of stuff we see in Star Wars. It's the same kind of thing we see in the martial arts. It's the same kind of thing you see in all kinds of stuff. But typically other religions, not Christianity. The mixing of light and dark does not belong in Christianity at all.
And God was very patient with Lucifer in heaven. I mean, there was a massive amount of pleading with him, please don't go down this road. And so, the devil caused a lot of this. He's the foundation of all this. And so to me, this is sort of just lifting the well, he's really a good person at heart, and, all will be saved in the end. But this is the most evil person that the universe has got in it right now.
It seems like the only good that's presented in the show is him being like a detective, helping in the
Helping
crimes,
to solve crimes.
But everything else is just like destruction, sex, and drugs, and just chaos. Is that so you just need a slither of good, and the rest is
That's his
overlooked?
redeemable quality.
Like,
It should be redeemed over that.
All right, I want to show you a couple of things from the show before we really start to dig into one particular episode. Okay, these are just like little brief snippets we're going to go through, just to give you an idea of what kind of flavor it puts out there as far as Christianity is concerned.
I'm glad you came back.
I needed to get my parking validated.
So your items were never recovered?
No.
Earlier you said that the items weren't that important. Yet now you seem very upset that they're gone.
Well, I'm a walking paradox. What can I say?
Sometimes we need to lose something before we can understand its value.
I didn't lose anything.
No, you were the victim of a crime. It's only natural that you would feel violated. And often our feelings of loss connect to how we feel about who we are.
Right, so we're back on that, are we? You want to talk about my identity?
Yes, because you're the devil. You told me your names, but you left out a few others. Abaddon, Belial, Prince of Darkness.
Someone's been brushing up on their Sunday school.
Yes, but before you fell, you were known as Samael, the Lightbringer.
I don't go by that name anymore.
That was a name that connotated your father's love for you.
Right. Was casting his son into hell also an expression of his love?
No, God didn't cast you out of heaven because he was angry with you.
How can you presume to know God's intentions?
No, I don't. I can't.
Then maybe stick within the limits of your intellectual capacity.
Or maybe my simplicity offers me a different perspective. God cast you out because he needed you to do the most difficult of jobs. It was a gift.
Gift? He shunned me. He vilified me. He made me a torturer. Can you even begin to fathom what it was like? Eons spent providing a place for dead mortals to punish themselves. I mean, why do they blame me for all their little failings, as if I'd spent my days sitting on their shoulder, forcing them to commit acts they'd otherwise find repulsive? Oh, the devil made me do it. I have never made any one of them do anything. Never.
What happened to you is unfair.
Unfair? This is unjust. For all eternity, my name will be invoked to represent all their depravity. That is the gift that my father gave me.
It was an act of love.
How do you know?
Because you are his favorite son, Samael.
Do not call me that, please.
You are his fallen angel. But here's the thing, when angels fall, they also rise. All you have to do is embrace all that you are.
I can't.
Yes, you can. You just have to be open to the process.
You don't understand. I can't.
But why?
Because I stole them from me!
So you just seen a session that he had with his therapist, and in there a lot of things came out. A lot of things about him and how he views his relationship between God and how she views it, and they're mixing a lot of truth and error. Mm-hmm. One of the things that came out was a name, Samael, and so I thought, that's kind of curious because she called it like the light bearer, and I was like, what is that name? I've never heard that name before. Mm-hmm. Where does that come from? And so as I was digging, I found out it's a Hebrew name. And so here's what it actually means. It means venom of God, poison of God, or blindness of God. Wow. It does not mean what they were making it to mean. They're kind of mixing the Hebrew name with the Greek meaning of Lucifer, right?
There's a lot there, though, that I think we need to bring out that is just disturbing in and of itself. Basically making the claim that God was the one that forced him out. Mm-hmm. He did nothing to get caused that. Mm-hmm. Yet he's the one that caused all that dissension in heaven. So it's once again shifting the blame back on God, has nothing to do with him. I find it very interesting, like in that video we watched before, how he is a pastor's son. So he's very aware of all of this terminology. If you're literally grown up in Christendom, and how can you say that out of your mouth and not question, wow, this is really putting a lot of blame on God? You know?
Money talks, man.
Right?
Yeah. So, he was saying, like, people do all their things on their own. They blame the devil, but they do it on their...
Yeah.
There's, like, what you're saying, like a little bit of truth
There's
to that.
Truth to that.
But who was the one that said, did God say?
Right. He caused the first
temptation. He has influence.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly he can't force us, but he definitely has influence. And so that goes along with this name Samael, right? In the Talmud, this is the angel of death and engineered the fall of Adam and Eve. So we definitely know who we're talking about here. And in Gnostic literature, this name is the one who planted the tree of knowledge and tempted Adam to sin. Oh, wow. He's also the one that marries Lilith, Does that name ring a bell to you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So in Gnostic literature, Lilith is the one, I thought this was interesting, they have a child between them. And you know what the child's name is?
Adam.
Asmodeus.
Asmodeus, interesting, which is one of the names of the demons.
Yeah.
In the Lesser Key of Solomon. I mean, it clearly states all the people that they've met the demons and know their names. That's where that comes from. Asmodeus is one of them.
Yeah.
And he actually pops up in movies. There was a movie called The Watchmen. Osmandius is really Asmodeus. A lot of the Jokers that we've seen in Batman and stuff like that, those are Asmodeus.
And in Spawn, they had a Asmodeus-like character.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's who we're talking about. That's what that name actually means, not kind of the twist that they put on in the show.
Well, Hollywood is so consistent. You have shows talking about the devil, or some kind of devil or demon put in like a glorified light and looking for redemption, all these things, and all this bad stuff isn't my fault. And then you have the opposite. We talked about miracle workers. You should check out that episode.
On Patreon.
Yeah, I was gonna say. YouTube took it down.
You can't watch it on YouTube.
Yeah. But yeah, God is what? A drunkard, and he doesn't care, and he should take all the blame. Just like this consistent theme in Hollywood that's so opposite from the Bible.
And I see that mindset in non-believers today. You see that they're always saying, if God was good, why is all this bad stuff happening? Why isn't God killing the murderers, killing the rapists? Well, he did that back when he flooded the world. And then you say, why would God, the same breath they say, why would a loving God destroy all those men, women, children, animals?
Yeah.
You can't win. God can't win with this. In the Bible, it says that he told Noah to preach for 120 years. They had time to get on that ark, and they didn't.
And 8 people out of the world got on. 8!
That was God's love and mercy. He protected them from all the murderers, rapists, pedophiles, all that. And God let it go on, like pleading with humanity, please get on the ark.
That's right.
Please repent. Well, I'm going to save my 8.
And what's interesting is you look at humanity, after those 8, when everything starts over, we just revert back to our nature, right? You can't take those 8 people and then everybody from then on out is perfect. No, everybody has a choice, and you choose which direction you're going to go. And since then, we're told by Jesus that the end times will be like the days of Noah. We're coming to that again. We in our sin, we digress, right? All right, so this is a clip of Tom Ellis doing an interview, and he talks a little bit more about his family. So he mentioned in the other clip that his dad was a pastor. It's actually a little more interesting than that we're gonna see.
See, but your father's a pastor. How does he feel about you playing literally the devil?
Well, we don't talk anymore.
No.
I'm joking.
He's like, you can take this role, but we're done.
No, he's fine. It's not actually, the funny thing is, it's not just my dad, it's my sister and my uncle are pastors as well. So it could be said I'm from a religious family.
Yes.
But they're all really great about it. I mean, they're obviously very supportive of my career, and I think anyone that watches the show understands that there's quite a good message at the heart of the show. So actually, weirdly for me, like the nicest messages I get are from Christians or from congregations where people have embraced the story that we're telling in order to sort of help tell their story.
Is it kind of fun to play a character that is just pure evil? Like you can just live this second life.
At the heart of the show, I hope that at the heart of the show we sort of try to prove that there is nothing such as pure evil, or Lucifer isn't pure evil. There's more to him than that, because he was an angel before he was the devil.
Right.
What?
So I want to challenge that thing that he just said, that there's a good message at the heart of the show, okay? And that's what we're going to get into when we start to analyze the episode that is about God.
I have to mention this as well too, though, because here he's literally telling you that the majority of people that are reaching out to him and telling him they like it are these Christian people. That are all of a sudden identifying with it. I mean, if there's a show that's literally going to flip the Bible upside down and make God out to be a villain, it's like something like this. And it's like, if a majority of Christians are kind of siding with him, that's disturbing to me.
Yeah, because if God doesn't redeem him by the end of the episode, then he's the bad guy, right?
That's right. It's God that kicked him out, and then now he's not willing to save him. I mean, that's the message I got from the 1-minute clip you played.
He said there's good at the heart of the show, which means there's so much bad, but at the heart of it, it's good.
Right.
But when people open the Bible, and they're like, oh man, there's this bad and this bad, so let's toss the book out. Why don't they use that same thinking?
So if I
with the
give you a
Bible?
gallon of poison and I throw a vitamin C in it, you're gonna drink it? You know,
There's a
it's like-
vitamin in the heart of that.
Come
I
on.
mean, there's good at the heart of Bible. How you take that whole thing as well.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they love to find one little verse to say, yeah, that's why I don't believe it. It's inconsistent or whatever.
We can find a ton of stuff in that show to easily throw it out.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so the next question is, what about God? How do they portray God? And there's a particular episode, it's in season 2, that they encounter this character. Now, is it really God? No, it's not really God. But the character's name is God Johnson. I'm gonna set the stage a little bit, okay? And Lucifer encounters this man. There's a lot of things he can't figure out about him. So part of his character abilities is, he can influence people to tell the truth, which is, I find kind of ironic because, the Bible tells us that he's the father of lies, right? And so he has this way of bringing the truth out of people, or even bringing their desires out of people. Like, for example, his therapist, he gets her to confess like what she really thinks of him and how she's really attracted to him.
Oh, I knew
these
that
kind
was
of things.
coming.
But he can't do that with this character, and there's a mystery behind it. And so we have to figure out, through this whole episode, they play out because he starts to wonder, is this really Father? Is this really God? And they have some dialogue that goes back and forth, and then there's a conclusion. So we're going to go through all that, and I want you to see, at the end of the day, how is God portrayed, and the relationship between the two of them, how is it left? Okay? And then we're getting back to what's really the message at the heart of this show. Well, I think we'll know as much as it concerns God. A bit of a warning, there is some language in here, at least in this next clip, so sorry if that offends your ears. We're not trying to do that, it's just part of the scene.
Well, hello, God.
Hello, my son.
Right, yes, I suppose that would be the standard way to greet your children. Nice touch.
What can I do for you?
Well, it's what I can do for you that's exciting. See, I can reveal the truth about the supreme being you've chosen to impersonate. Now, I bet you wanted to be God because he's benevolent, all-powerful, yada yada, but in actual fact, he's
Look, you won't be angry with me. You just go right on ahead. I can be anything you need me to be.
Right, enough of this idle chit-chat. Time to tell me what this charade's really about. What do you desire? To avoid a vengeful ex-wife? Years of back taxes? What's your game?
Is this a staring contest? Because I'm pretty good at those.
How's this possible? Oh, right, yes, I bet you're on some really amazing drugs, aren't you? If so, sharesies.
You're not supposed to be in here.
Oh, never mind. Done with this fraud anyway.
It's real good seeing you, Samuel.
What did you say?
Okay, so here's his first encounter with this God Johnson character.
My ears hurt.
Yeah, pretty blasphemous, what he says about God.
Yeah. Calls him a name that we cannot even say and repeat, right?
Yeah.
And then basically is literally like, I mean, this is this terrible portrayal. How can this guy say honestly that there's a good message at the heart of these stories?
So the next clip is we're going to show you an allusion to a plan that he has with his mother. Yes, they bring in Mom into this season as well. They call her the divine goddess. So here we go again, mixing elements that are not Christianity into Christianity, or at least a show that is supposed to have a basis in Christianity according to the producers. So I just want you to hear like part of their plan in regards to God.
What's he doing here, Lucifer?
I don't know. You married him.
What kind of ruins our plans to storm the gates of heaven and destroy him?
Well, I'm thinking we might not need to do that anymore.
Okay, she finishes her sentence by saying, I will never forgive him. But the plan, storm the gates of heaven and
destroy God.
Destroy God.
Wow.
And she was married to God.
Yeah, she was supposed to be married to him. She somehow got cast from heaven or banished or something, and her soul wound up in hell and got freed. And It's very
so
strange.
On a deep spiritual level, a woman is a church. Interesting. Supposed to be married to God. Literally behind his back is courting and in love with Lucifer. I mean, this is literally like hitting at the core of Christianity has had a struggle. I mean, that's why Revelation talks about a woman riding a beast. I mean, this is very like prophetic, even how they're putting this out there.
The harlot church.
The heart of the church playing a harlot with the man of sin.
So this next clip, we're going to see another exchange and dialogue that happens between him and God Johnson, and they've been captured by a crazy nurse. She manages to capture them, pump them full of drugs. They're here captured in like an old hospital or insane asylum or something like that. And she's going to kill them, okay? But they have some dialogue between the two of them as this is playing out. So I want you to hear what they have to say.
Well, I had no idea you were so angry with me.
Really? Because I've been pretty upfront about it.
But to want to destroy me? That's pretty serious. You mind telling me why?
Because I'm your son. And you rejected me.
Oh. Well, then I guess I can't say as I blame you. The fact of the matter is, I don't even remember why I was ever so angry with you to begin with. For what it's worth, I am sorry. I truly am. And I am proud of you, Samael. I'm proud of the man you've become.
I'm still having a hard time finding the little nugget of goodness inside of this.
Well, because it's a
story.
father forgiving his son.
Well, this is one episode. Okay.
This is the father who's supposed to be God.
Doesn't know.
He's the one that needs to say he's sorry.
Yeah.
And that literally he's proud of who he's become. I think this just saddens the heart of God. He is very brokenhearted that Lucifer did what he did, and in his defiance would be willing to kill God when God didn't deserve any of that. Wow, this is just a total reversal.
They're adding a lot to the character of Satan and stripping away a lot from God.
Now, I'm not going to make a
big and all these things.
I'm not going to make a big deal about this, but his last name is what?
Johnson.
Johnson.
Oh, Johnson.
So, you guys ever remember those big Johnson T-shirts?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, you could probably chop that.
Yeah,
out.
I mean, that's what Lucifer
That's
called him.
why he called him that.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that plays into it.
What am I missing?
I don't know. I'm not familiar either. But let's see how this episode
Big
ends.
Johnson is another name for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to see how this ends.
I still can't believe I gave all my money away.
Well, if it's any consolation, you haven't exactly been yourself of late.
Yeah.
Listen, I wanted to ask you, what was the last thing you remember?
I was in New Mexico for work. I was walking through this Navajo gift shop. Saw this cool belt buckle, so I picked it up, and next thing I knew, I woke up strapped to a gurney next to you.
Lucky you.
Yeah. Hey, they said we was arguing. If I did or said something to upset you, I apologize.
No, you were quite lovely, actually. For a brief moment, I thought you were my father. A man for whom I harbor a great deal of resentment. And you said some things that I think I wish he'd always said to me. So, for that, I thank you.
Well, I guess even a blind squirrel catches a nut every now and then. You take care of yourself. Hey, does this mean you're not angry at your dad anymore?
No, I'm not angry. I'm bloody furious. So I realized that my father would never say those things to me. And for that, I hate him all the more.
Wow, what a message.
Okay, so
that
this
guy
character
wasn't God.
winds up, it turns out he's actually not God, as you probably discerned from that clip. What happened was that belt buckle that he had, that piece winds up belonging on the flaming sword. It's part of it. So it's something that God created. And so this piece is like an artifact that has special powers, and the person that has possession of it is able to do certain things. So that's why he was able to resist Lucifer. It's why he couldn't have his mind read. It's why he could fool the divine goddess and all these things. He had these special powers and abilities. But in the end, he had said some things, and then Lucifer is hoping those things would be true. And then what does he say, when he finds out that they're not?
I hate God all the more.
I hate God all the more. So this is the message that they're sending about God. He's not redemptive.
Yeah.
It's a show about forgiveness. God's not forgiving, and therefore he should be hated all the more because of it. Because he's not forgiving Lucifer.
Wow.
So it's a strong message. I did a little digging since this is in season 5. Season 5's not out yet. It's soon to be released on Netflix, I think. And people have already started making petitions for season 6.
Wow.
And I just looked this up the other day. It's on change.org, where you can make petitions about all kinds of things. And almost 100,000 people have signed this petition that this have another season 6, and they're trying to get to 150,000 signatures. Now, from time to time, people will petition Hollywood to extend certain shows. So, will we get a season 6? I don't know. They do introduce other biblical characters. They introduce the character of Cain. They call him the sinner man. And it turns out that Cain is a murderer in that episode, just like Cain is in the Bible. And they introduce the character of Eve, and they spin that as she is Lucifer's first love. So when she shows up, it's just like
an old flame.
Hey, yeah, like an old fling, an old flame, and they're just doing their thing together.
Wow.
So look at media. I'm sitting here thinking, it's always interesting, like you said earlier, how you have shows about the devil or Satan or whatnot, and they're always portrayed in a good light. And I think about that, like, of course, you have the biggest mass media tool on the planet, right? Is the devil going to leave that alone?
No.
Is he going to take that mass media tool and say, well, let's see if we can make God as good as he can possibly look? No, he's going to do the exact opposite. He's going to make himself look as good as he can, and then God is going to be minimized or vilified in that process.
I think there's always a reason why the devil is trying to basically make a logical excuse for what he's done.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get people to say, oh, now I understand why you did what you did because of X, Y, and Z. When really it's the mystery of iniquity. There is no explanation for why Lucifer did what he did, and where it came from out of nothing in a perfect environment to drag down part of God's existing universe, he has no answers for. And so this is just like getting people to side with him, and then I see nothing but a slam on God and a deflection of really what we should be saying as a society. Like, man, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of misery. Yep. Why do people always put that on God? Why don't they put it where it's due, and that's on Satan?
Yeah. So there's 2 things I want to point out from the Bible that we know as the truth of this character, Lucifer. Like, what are his characteristics, right? What is he really trying to do? So the first one can be found in Revelation 12:9. And the thing I want to bring out of this is that he deceives the whole world. So deception is part of his nature. We said earlier, he's the father of lies, right? So what is he trying to do? He's trying to deceive everyone on this planet according to the Bible, which is the truth, right? So you can take a show like Lucifer and, it can be all funny and satirical or whatever you want to say. But at the end of the day, this is the true nature of that character, is deception. The next one is he's the accuser, which means he has no love for you or I. Bible says he's the accuser of the brethren. That's each one of us. And he will not hesitate to throw you under the bus. In fact, he'll do his best to get you to sin and then take it right to God and say, like, look what those terrible people did and why they should be destroyed. So he is not on your side at all. He is the accuser. So he's the deceiver and the accuser. And we also see a picture of this in Zechariah chapter 3. It says, then he showed me Joshua the high priest standing before the angel of the Lord, and Satan standing at his right hand to oppose him. Satan was there in that scene as the accuser as well. So that's his nature, that's who he is, that's what he's always trying to do. He's always trying to destroy humanity, deceive the world. So don't be deceived by this character. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but maybe Christians with shows like this are starting to lose their discernment. And here is a Instagram clip I snagged from a famous artist. Her name is Kelly Clarkson. You might have heard of her. She won the first season of American Idol, and she's actually a Southern Baptist.
Wow.
So this is what she had to say about the show Lucifer. I'm going to show you this clip.
Okay, I'm upset because it took me forever to catch on to this show because I have 4 children and a lot of jobs and a lot going on. But I cannot believe my sister was like, you need to watch the show. You're going to love this show. You're going to love this show. And I kept trying. And every time I did, there was a kid. There was something who was happening. So I never got to. And then I finally started watching it. And then I obsessively watched 3 seasons in like 4 days. My husband is so over it probably. But I love it. And the show is called Lucifer. And I'm so mad because I just found out, because I was so happy because Netflix picked it up. And so then I started watching season 4, and then I noticed that somebody had said season 5 was the last season. And they were like, oh, but don't worry, we added 6 shows. So apparently there's now 16 shows instead of 10 in season 5. But here's what I need, Netflix. Like, what do we need to do to make sure there's more seasons than just season 5? Because here's what happens. I get on a show like late in the game, and it's amazing. And then people end up going, oh, it's over and it's canceled. And I'm like, why? And I'm mad about it. Anyway, if you haven't watched Lucifer, you should watch it. It's awesome. The end of season 4, let's talk about it. It's so good and sad. I'm obsessed. It's fine. Anyway, I want them on my show. I want Amy Garcia on my show. I want all of them on my show. I might have texted Amy Garcia because we have the same hair guy, Roberto Ramos. And I love her, and I love the show. Anyway, if you haven't watched it and you're like, man, what's a good show I should watch? Lucifer. Trust. Like the first 3 seasons I watched on iTunes, like on Apple, and then, well, I bought them. I support art. And then season 4 and 5 isn't even come out until frickin' spring or summer 2020, whatever. But anyway, season 4 is on Netflix. Netflix, how about y'all go ahead and re-up that, and you just do me a solid and continue this greatness. Okay, bye.
Wow.
I really didn't know which direction she was going to go with this video. It sounded almost like she was like, someone's trying to get me to watch Lucifer, and I watched it. It's a horrible show. Instead, I was, shocked when she was like, I'm obsessed with it.
I think it speaks to mainstream Christianity. I mean, it's like, are we not reading the Bible? I mean, like, are we not familiar with this age-old story of how God and Satan began in this war? Because if you are, if you've grown up with this, Christian upbringing, and you could be drawn to something like this, and it's not offensive to you, or it's not like, whoa, they just like slam my God. Yeah. This is like alarming to me that this is where Christendom, and I'm sure we're gonna get comments in this video even, like, whatever, you guys are just looking into stuff like we always do, and it's like, yeah, but when was the last time you really saw a show like this, put it in its proper light? I mean, if a show like this called Lucifer was showing you that the devil is who is the destroyer of people, that you need to run to God. I mean, dude, we'd be doing a show praising this type of a show, but it's so opposite.
I want to wrap things up here with a couple of verses. I think Ephesians chapter 5 really speaks to this well, and what we should be, our attitude towards these kind of things. It says in verses 1 and 2, therefore be imitators of God as dear children, and walk in love as Christ also has loved us and given himself for us, in offering and a sacrifice to God for a sweet-smelling aroma. I didn't hear anything in this show about God sacrificing himself or anything like that. It was all one-sided. God is a villain, it was all, sympathy for the devil. He vilified me forever, and he's this terrible person. And then verses 5-8 says, for you were once in darkness, but now you are light in the world. Walk as children in the light. That's the admonition we get from the Bible, is walk as children in the light, not spending our time in the darkness, not spending our time with dark shows that have really dark messages.
And
None of
searching
that.
for the good in the darkness.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Searching for the good in the darkness. No, because the Bible says, good and evil are not to be mixed. They're not the same thing, and they can't be flip-flopped either. Good is good, evil is evil. Scotty, we were talking just between shots, and you brought out some really interesting points. Would you share those as we're starting to wrap up here and get everybody's final thoughts?
Was that what we were talking about, the woman and falling in love with Lucifer? And that
It
being sort of a
was
symbol of the church?
the favorite son.
Oh, yeah. So in one of the earlier clips that we actually were watching in the very beginning of this, remember he said that he was the favored son of God. And you think about that, like, who's the favorite son of God?
Jesus.
That's Jesus, right? I mean, that's when Jesus hears the voice of God after his baptism. This is my son whom I am well pleased, right? We have no biblical reference whatsoever from God saying that he's pleased with anything that Lucifer does.
Yeah.
In fact, he says there's nothing good in him. He was a murderer from the very beginning, is how the Bible describes that. So the fact that they put this out there really is interesting to me because, like the billboards that they were doing in New York to promote this said Lucifer is coming, or second coming of Lucifer. And so if he's the favored son, he's the one that's second coming. We saw the picture where it says he is risen. Who are they basically replacing?
Sounds familiar.
He's Jesus.
They're putting a lot of twisted stuff out there. And most people aren't going to research the name Samael or whatever and find out that what they said was a complete lie.
They haven't lied to you in the show. Like that's even another reason why it's like this is just full of nonsense.
And if people just watch this, they might actually believe, Lucifer was one of God's sons or whatever.
Yeah, if you don't know your Bible,
Yeah.
how would you know the difference?
I think Mormonisms even say that Lucifer and Jesus were brothers. So.
Now, just a secondary, real quick danger to this kind of material going out into our public, right? We know, or we believe, we're at the end of this thing, right? And what are we supposed to be doing as Christians? We're supposed to be running around, knocking on doors, trying to share Christ with people in the last moments of God's mercy to come into his fold, right? So let's just hypothetically say you were exposed to this, and somebody knocks on your door and starts trying to tell you what God is like. It's just conflicting information, and these seeds have been planted into people's minds, and so by the time you go to share with them, they don't even understand why they hate God or they're angry with God. But it's like if you watched all of these things, and I mean, a Christian like Kelly Clarkson couldn't see that there's a problem with this, man, Lord have mercy on those people that don't know Christ right now.
A thought that came to mind is, wow, Christians are like one of the most disloyal groups of people to their own religion.
Wow.
Because, I remember there was a show or movie that showed Baphomet. Remember what it was? And the satanic
Sabrina.
groups, was it Sabrina?
Yeah.
And the satanic groups were like, copyright, take it down. And there's
you're
all
showing
this
him
outcry.
in the wrong light.
Exactly. But when it comes to biblical themes in shows that are completely just skewing and contradicting what's in the Bible, Christians are like, let's find the good, let's watch it, let's support it, and let's put it on for another season. It's just like, wow, or should we not be offended? Should we not be doing something about this? And as you're saying, making sure that when we go out there to share truth, there's not this mass contradicting message to fight against.
It's like the devil has a louder tool to beat us to the punch, and then we're trying to play catch up to share information. No, God's really like this loving, nice character, and God is love. I mean, that if the whole Bible literally is a description of God's love, this just missed the entire point of the Bible. Yet they say they went to the Bible to get their information to make this show in the first place.
And that's if we're sharing it at all. I mean, if that's consuming all of our time, do we have time to share the truth, the Word of God?
Yeah, that's right.
They say the show is about redemption, but I never saw any redemption. It just looked like God is not redeeming.
That's true. Redemption was a lie, like it wasn't God.
Or, there's, as different episodes play out, redemption seems to be for everybody but God, or more for Lucifer than anybody else.
Wow.
So.
But it's that thing that really, I think, irked me with all the clips that you just showed me was that God really needs to say sorry to the devil.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm massively offended by that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Definitely.
I've gone through a lot of pain in this world, and for me to sit there and say, God, it's your fault,
Yeah, we've humbled ourselves and repented and told God we're sorry.
That's right.
We haven't done near the stuff that He has done.
That's right.
Yep. If you want to see some extra scenes to this, we're going to throw up a special little clip of us having some extra dialogue and throw in another clip that we analyzed from the show, and you can catch that on Patreon. So we encourage you to go to Patreon and find the behind the scenes or extra scenes for this episode.
And if you literally want to become a supporter of our LED show, I mean, definitely check out our Patreon, because think about this, a lot of people will pay for Netflix or go and see these movies or TV shows, and it's like they're giving their time, money, energy to this kind of junk when, I would hope that those Christians are helping support ministries and stuff like that. So we need your help. If you got, any extra funds that you can help us to create new things, we would be greatly appreciated.
All right, so what does the show Lucifer teach us about God? Well, you found out here on LED Live. You can make your own judgment. Make sure you put your comments below. And also, if you like this kind of material, make sure you like this channel, subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell so you can be notified when the next episodes are out. And we hope to catch you next time on LED Live. Thanks for watching.
Bye.